2024 has been wow for Malaysian small cap index, hitting a 10-year high as we speak. It's one of the best performing markets in the region. I've wanted to dive deep into small cap stocks, but I didn't know where to start. Then I found RHB Small Cap Jewel 2024 edition, packed with all the insights I needed. Get your copy with the link in the description. After flipping through the ebook, I was hooked and I wanted more. So I'm interviewing the CEOs of these small cap companies, and here's the fun part. At the end of each episode, I will ask for a gift from the CEO and pass it on to the next guest. By the end, we'll see how much the final gift is worth. It's going to be a fun and engaging adventure as we uncover the stories behind these small cap gems. Let's see what treasures we can uncover together. So today, I have with me the Head of Research of RHB, Alex Chia. Welcome to the show, Alex. Investment is about making money, but it's not about putting your money in FD. It's about chasing the alpha, right? But the problem is also about the correct stock picking. When it comes to small cap stocks, it's even more challenging. So to go straight to the point, right? It's already so difficult to identify stocks among the big caps. How do you identify a good small cap stocks?
Go through a pretty rigorous process in terms of stock selection. We try to look at margins, trends in terms of revenue growth, top line. We also make an assessment on management, whether they are flaky. These days, there are many high-profile corporate failures, and that's what we want to avoid. And of course, we try to look at things from an ESG angle as well. So we don't just do desktop research and trawl through Google to find out, the latest stories, right? We actually have to go and visit management. We have to look at your facilities and basically understand the business model and what we can do to actually engage with management and link them to investors, and therefore we do it both ways. I mean, it's a win-win, right? If we can sell the story to investors and investors discover these less well-researched companies, and then our clients get to make money. Share price goes up, management and owners are happy. So that's ultimately the objective. And over the years, we've had many winners. I can mention a whole list of names that we used to promote as a small cap, but some of them are now mega cap.
Maybe you can share with us one example.
Press Metal.
Right.
Press Metal. Yeah. We promoted it in our small cap book when the market cap was sub 1 billion. Now it's I'm not sure what the market cap is now, but it's many billions.
The analysts will go down to the ground, do the ground research, meet the management. I think that is a lot of value add to investors. They don't need to do that themselves. Sometimes they don't even have access to the management. Once that is done, you write a report, and if they're qualified, you'll put them into the small cap jewel book, right? But after that, does RHB keep track with the progress of the story, or it is just that one-off report?
Okay, the stocks that we include in our small cap book doesn't come under our regular coverage because we haven't. I mean, it's essentially a trading idea. But from time to time, if there are certain developments that are worth mentioning, we may do a follow-up report on it. We may do follow-up trading idea reports on the names in the small cap book. It really depends on the situation on a case-to-case basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the definition of a trading idea? It must have a certain level of upside that the analyst can see, right?
There's got to be a trading angle. So it may not necessarily be a long-term buy and hold. It could be a short-term trading thematic idea. Based on certain factors. I think there are many other factors that we consider before thinking whether or not we should permanently cover a stock. Of course, if it's large cap, Maybank or whatever, of course we have permanent coverage of it, right? Because everybody owns. all the institutional funds own Maybank, for example. But for some of the smaller cap names, we need to see whether or not there's a following. Whether or not we have put clients into the stock, and whether or not there is a persistent story to tell.
Okay, so can I say that for stocks to go into the small cap jewel book, it is like the first filter. And subsequently, if RHB decided to initiate coverage on the stocks, that is like, it has a long-term story there to tell. And therefore, investors should pay even more attention to those regular coverage.
Yeah, you could say that.
Coming back to ESG, ESG is one issue that until today I don't really get it, because every research house will have somehow their own formula to come up with their scoring, and even Bursa Malaysia has their own scoring system. And how do investors supposed to look at it, and how do they make investment decision based on an ESG score?
You don't want to invest in companies that have dodgy governance. You don't want to invest in companies that are deemed to be polluters of the environment, and or who treat their employees badly. We started it back in 2021, where we developed our own in-house ESG scoring methodology. We have a weighting and a scoring scale for each of the E, the S, and the G. We chose to do it in-house in order that the analyst covering the stock and the sector has a greater degree of buy-in to continuously evaluate the stock from an ESG angle, as opposed to another broker who may choose to buy back the ESG scores from a third party. So if you buy back the score, right, you don't know where it's a black hole, right? You don't know where the numbers drop out. Somebody else sitting in some other place will decide whether a company has a high ESG score or low ESG score. So if we did the scoring ourselves, then the idea here is that analysts will be more committed, to the sustainability, evolution of the company, and asking the right questions to ensure that their scores remain up to date,
right?
Yeah, and relevant.
I think ESG investing is more relevant to the institutional fund managers, because great money comes with great responsibility. You need to invest responsibly. But to normal investors, retail investors, the goal is just to make money, right? They don't really care whether the company is ESG compliant and all that. But if a retail investor like me were to use the ESG scoring system as a catalyst for a premium, what would that premium be? Like, for example, if we use RHB scoring system, how much is one ESG point equal to how many percentage of upside?
We have a scorecard, dedicated scorecard for certain industries like banks, for example. So the questions in the banking ESG scorecard would be different from the scorecard for non-banks, for example. The way we do it is that the scores range from 1 to 4, 4 being the best and 1 being the worst. So the way we've done it is that each tick in the scoring represents a 2% premium or discount to the intrinsic value. So we have an intrinsic value, derived from, say, using DCF or a target PE, and then it's moderated by way of the premium or discount, to that intrinsic value.
Okay, so if a company score 1, it will be a discount to the intrinsic value.
Yeah. So the way we do it is that the mean score for the country is 3.
Okay.
Right. So if a company scores 3.2, then it's a 2 ticks.
Okay.
It's 2 ticks above the mean. So which means that each tick is 2%. So 2 ticks will be 4%. So we would ascribe a 4% ESG premium.
Wow.
And so vice versa, for stocks that have a score below 3.
Okay. So every 0.1 tick is a 2%
premium or discount
on the
intrinsic value.
On the intrinsic value.
Yes.
So from 3 to 4, that is a lot of 0.1s. So that could be the premium for the ESG scoring.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Coming back to the RHB Small Cap Jewel 2024 edition, and if you guys want to have a copy of it, you can click on the description below to download your copy. Now, RHB is a tier 1 broker. And as we all know, tier 1 brokers, usually they cover big stocks because their clients, they are big clients like EPF, PNB. When they deploy funds to invest, it's very hard for them to invest in small cap stocks, because small cap stocks, 100 million, 200 million, 500 million, it's too small for them to put a certain amount of money in it. But RHB being a tier 1 broker comes out with a signature product that is called the small cap jewel. What is the objective and what is RHB trying to achieve here?
Okay, before I answer your question, I should give you a little bit of context as to how the small cap book came about. RHB today is a product of a merger with OSK Investment Bank about 10 years ago, and it was under OSK that the first small cap book was published. I think it was 20 years ago now. Okay. To create a niche for themselves. I think OSK back then, when the idea was first mooted, was to focus on looking at small caps because nobody else was doing it at the time. Nowadays, everybody's looking at everything, right? So in the old days, I think the first book contained 100 names. But I think over time, we've sort of whittled down the names to the 20 names per book per year that we currently do. But I think what defines what qualifies as small cap, there's no formal industry standard definition of what constitutes small cap. So in Malaysia, we've tried to put it as stocks that have a total market cap of under 500 million US dollars.
So that's about
2 billion. In the
ringgit.
old days, it used to be 2 billion, but now of course it's 2 and a bit. Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you draw the line 500 million US dollars, how many companies are there left that qualifies to be small cap?
Oh, many.
If I recall, there are only about less than 1,000 companies listed on Bursa Malaysia.
If you look down the list of the FBM 100, you don't actually have to look too far down.
That's true.
Before the market cap goes to 5, 6, 7, 8 billion kind of thing, right? And then I would hazard a guess that anything below the top 120, 150 names, they're all sub 3 billion, sub 2, 3 billion.
I have a look at the book, right? I noticed a lot of all the names are in the manufacturing sector. So my question would be, when you filter out the stocks, is it based on a top-down approach? Like you look at the US and China, they're not in good relationship, and therefore some of these companies, they want to diversify geographically. They come to Malaysia, they set up plant, therefore manufacturing is the place to be. And from there, you pick up the stocks? Or is it the other way around, where you think that, hey, this company actually has potential to grow, and as you compile all those names, curate those names, and naturally you notice that, hey, a lot of all these names are in manufacturing.
This year, if you look at our house view on the macro side, we're looking for the global economy to continue growing. Economists already see green shoots of recovery in China, and the soft landing scenario for the broader global economy, and therefore, we think that there are names that are in manufacturing that will tend to benefit from these trends. It's a bit of top down and a bit of bottom up.
Even though we have filtered out the small cap jewels into 20 stocks, but as a normal investor, 20 names is still quite many. If I still need to further narrow it down to, let's say, 5 stocks to be considered to put into the portfolio, what are the top 5 stocks that can give that really super normal profit?
Yeah, I really wouldn't want to rank the names in the book. But I do think that if you look at it from a sectoral perspective, we think that we are on the cusp of a pickup in technology industry. So I think the focus here is on some of the tech names that are in there, and I think other names that we like includes utilities, oil and gas, healthcare. I think that some of the names in those sectors would probably have a good chance of doing well.
So where do you think 2024 the KLCI will end?
Okay, we've just raised our end 2024 KLCI target to 1720.
Oh, okay.
We had it at 1600.
Okay.
And this was established when we published our 2024 strategy report back in December last year. The global macro has been pretty much in line. We've been, fairly confident about the U.S. economy. China is beginning to make a bit of a comeback. Domestically, we are seeing greater political stability and that has gone better than we could have envisaged. So if you wind back this time last year, everybody was looking at, there's 6 state elections coming up. What's going to happen politically? Will the Anwar administration be able to see out its 5-year term? But now I think it's pretty much base case that I think there's confidence in the market that this government will be able to see out its 5-year term until G16, which doesn't need to be called until end of 2027. So there's time for this government to put in the necessary reforms that is so desperately needed, both from a fiscal perspective as well as from an economic perspective.
So I think year-end target 1700 is definitely going to help the small cap jewels to outperform the market as well. So fingers crossed, right? If you want to have a look at all these reports, the strategy report, the small cap jewels and all that, what you can do is to become a RHB Trade Smart client. And then from there, there's a portal for you to access the research portal.
Correct. Yes.
And I suppose all the reports will be there.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So this is what I'm going to do, because the 20 names, some of them, they are very, very interesting. So therefore, I will try my very best to reach out to them, get them on the show, and to figure out and see what is the sexy story that you mentioned. And hopefully they can tell the audience themselves, and then we can discover all these stocks together.
Please do, because one of the criteria that we use to select the companies is that the managements of the companies needs to be engageable, right? There's no point in picking a stock and putting it in a book, and then you can't get hold of management, and they don't want to see people.
Correct.
They don't want to participate in outreach programs. Then that sort of defeats the point, because at the end of the day, it's all about investor education.
Yes.
It's all about connecting the markets to the companies that previously flew under the radar of most investors or many investors.
This is what I plan to do, right? Because this is a RHB small cap jewel, and I'm going to invite some of these jewels to come on the show. Is there something on you that you can give away? Because what I'm trying to do is to give something to our next guest and tell them that, hey, this is what the head of research of RHB give you, like a personal note.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. So we've got a diary. So I'll put a note into that, a personal note, and this will be passed to
you give it to me. I will pass it on to our next guest.
The next corporate presenter.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Oh, nice. Come. Can I read it out? Tell the market what they have been missing out on. Regards, Alex, RHB Research 2024. Thanks very much, Alex, to come to the show, and hope to see you again soon.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Okay.